Hello and welcome to the Golden Playbook. Today we are going to go over 5 running backs that I am most terrified to draft in fantasy drafts for 2025. And I'm not talking deep sleepers that are shots in the dark. I'm talking running backs that are being drafted in the first 6 rounds. So these are guys you are going to be drafting to be starters on your team. And although all 5 of these guys do have some good upside, and their ceiling could even be league winning for a couple of these guys, I'm just so terrified about their floor. They could be total bust picks, droppable by week 3, week 4, which is why I personally am most terrified to draft these 5 guys. First up, Christian McCaffrey. He is being drafted at the RB4, around the 8th pick overall. And he is the absolute poster boy for a terrified pick. He could either be a league winner or he'll be a total wasted first round pick, get injured, and your chances of having a championship team if you absolutely miss on your first round pick is pretty much 0, right? My concerns with him are obvious, the injury concerns between the knee, the calf, the Achilles. Is he okay? All reports are that he's looking great. He is back to 100% health, but that is always what we hear this time of year. And everyone seems to be buying right back into the hype. I'm a little more skeptical than most. I think at 29 years of age, that is going under the radar. And he is a guy who has had a lot of carries, a lot of touches throughout his career. I would not be shocked if he gets injured, but in the same breath, he could absolutely be a league winner. We saw what he could do for you in 2023. No one quite has the ceiling that he does when he is fully healthy and fully being Christian McCaffrey. I just don't know how many of those weeks you will truly get out of him. If you told me right now he plays 15 games and you get peak Christian McCaffrey performance, he is absolutely a smash pick, should be drafted even higher. I'm just so concerned that that will not happen. So that's why I'm terrified to draft Christian McCaffrey in 2025. Next up, we have Kyren Williams, and this is more of a gut thing for me. He is currently the running back 12 and ADP of 33.5 in underdog drafts, which I know does not value running backs nearly as high as receivers. So in your standard ESPN, CBS leagues, he'll be even higher than this, likely a second round pick. And Kyren has been about as consistent as they come the last couple of years. But for some reason, my gut is telling me this is the year he falls off the table. He's got guys barking at the heels in Blake Corum and Jarquez Hunter, who they drafted this year. He has also had fumbling concerns with 8 total fumbles over the last couple of seasons. And with it being a contract year for Kyren Williams, who knows, the leash might be shorter. They might want to get to some of their younger guys, even though Kyren's only 24 in his own right. But still, they might want to see what they have before they sign Kyren to a long extension. And if he fumbles or gives away any possessions, that might be just enough for Sean McVay to give the other guys a little bit more of a chance. Not to mention the addition of Davante Adams. I think this team's going to be a little bit more pass happy. I think McVay is going to want to rely on Puka and Davante, especially in the red zone. I would not be surprised if we see some touchdown regression from Kyren as we see more passing touchdowns out of Matthew Stafford. That is why I am terrified to draft Kyren Williams in the 2025 season. Subscribe! Next up, we have Breece Hall, the RB13, ADP of 35, right in that similar range as Kyren, obviously just 1 or 2 picks behind him. And I think the concerns are much more justified when it comes to Breece. Has not looked the part the last couple of seasons. Really, since his rookie year, he has not looked like the explosive Breece Hall that we knew coming out of college. And with that being said, there are reports that they want to do a committee backfield this year with the young guys, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. And I also expect some receiving regression because we know Aaron Rodgers loves to dump the ball down to the running backs and Justin Fields not so much. Justin Fields, when he gets in a pickle, instead of dumping it down, he's going to take off and use his athletic ability. So I don't think he'll be nearly involved in the passing game, even though he was heavily involved last year. He was more involved in the passing game than people realized last year, especially from a routes run standpoint. They were not leaving him in to pass protect. He was always getting out on a route. And I think that'll change with the new offense with Fields at quarterback. But pros for Breece Hall, in this offense, they should become more of a running attack with Fields at quarterback. Not to mention the threat of Justin Fields as a runner should provide some more open lanes for Breece Hall and get him back to what he's doing best. And if he shows any inkling of the explosiveness that he had in his rookie season, he could absolutely crush this ADP and be a league winner for you. I truly believe that. I'm just nervous and terrified that that will not happen. And that's why I am terrified to draft Breece Hall. Next, we have Kenneth Walker of my Seattle Seahawks, currently at the RB18, ADP about 57. And listen, I think Kenneth Walker is going to be the could have been, should have been, would have been guy if it wasn't for his injuries. He has yet to play a full season, lots of lower body leg injuries, and has already had some soft tissue injuries in camp. I would be absolutely shocked if he plays the full season. Not to mention he had 8 touchdowns in 11 games last year, and I don't think that is a rate that he can keep up, which made it seem very good for him as his efficiency was down. He was at 3.7 average yards per carry, his lowest since being in the league. And listen, we've seen Zach Charbonnet able to produce when Kenneth Walker goes down. I think Sharp is knocking at that door. I think it's going to be a solid 50-50 battle, even when Walker is healthy. A lot of people are being blinded by Walker's talent. I'm just nervous from an injury standpoint, efficiency standpoint, and with Charbonnet knocking at the door, I think it's going to cut into his workload more than people are realizing. Seattle is famous for having poor offensive line play, and although they spent a first-round pick on a guard, I still don't think they're going to be quite what we want them to be. It's going to take some time for them to gel. I've always been terrified to draft Kenneth Walker, but this year it is even more amplified. And it is the same reason I am very high on Zach Charbonnet. So I am terrified to be drafting Kenneth Walker as my RB2 in 2025. Last and final guy on this list is David Montgomery. He's the RB23, ADP around 70. And listen, the obvious concern is Jahmyr Gibbs is there, who's an absolute superstar, who he's already battling touches with. So he's already at a 50-50 split with Jahmyr Gibbs. On top of that, Ben Johnson leaves. Frank Ragnow, their all-pro center, retires, who is a much bigger deal for Montgomery than he is for Gibbs. Montgomery being an up-the-middle runner, kind of smash-mouth guy with Jahmyr Gibbs out on the outside making explosive plays. I think the loss of Ragnow is going to be huge for David Montgomery and just destroy his efficiency numbers. And another thing I'm a little worried about that not many people are talking about, last season at the end, he had an MCL injury. He opted against surgery and just rehabbed it. And I don't know if the integrity of that MCL, that knee as a whole, is going to be as strong as it would be if he had the surgery. I think there's a good chance that his re-injury rate this season is higher than it would normally be. Not to mention the guy is 28 years old, and I know last year we got blinded by all the old running backs performing well. What if things change this season and David Montgomery falls off a cliff at 28 years old? That would not shock me. With that being said, I am terrified to draft David Montgomery, especially if he had to be my RB2 heading into the 2025 football season. There you have it. There are the 5 running backs I am most terrified to be drafting in the 2025 fantasy season, especially guys that would have to plug into my starting lineup, and I'm just not sure what their floor is, how long they could stay consistent this year. Drop down in the comments below who you're terrified to draft or who you're very excited to draft. Would love to hear your positions and your arguments down in the comments. While you're down there, you might as well hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can stay tuned for more videos. We'll be doing the wide receiver version of this next week, so subscribe and stay tuned. I appreciate the support. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.